A couple of years ago, I went to Vietnam and stayed for 5 weeks, four in Nha Trang and one in Hanoi. And I went with my boyfriend. I feel so funny saying boyfriend. Partner, I don't feel comfortable with, but I think that's a better depiction of what it is. Anyway, sometimes I want to get married just so I don't have to say boyfriend or partner anymore and you just understand. All right, that's a side note. I went with my partner and we went because it was an in-between apartment situation. Our lease, our current situation was coming to an end, and we thought, let's take advantage of that. We can go to a couple of different countries. We went to Thailand after that. And since everything turned digital, we can do what we normally do, but live somewhere else at the same price or cheaper, including the airfare and everything. That's how we decided on Vietnam and Thailand, is because the affordability there is amazing, very amazing. It does take a huge flight, which, that was the longest flight I've ever taken. The longest before that was 13. So this is more than that. Anyway, we put our stuff in storage. We got rid of a lot of stuff. We put our stuff in storage, and for 2 months we were not going to be in the States. And here are some of the things that just in Vietnam, this is in Nha Trang, that stood out to me that I didn't expect to stand out, and also that I didn't expect at all. But maybe I didn't really think about these particular things. First of all, I was surprised at my own jet lag. I had never felt jet lag like that before. And for both of us, it took us a week to adjust. We would maybe go out for an hour and need a nap and a half. And that was another thing, is the heat. And I thought, like, hey, bring it on. 90s, I'm good with it. I love heat. This was sometimes beyond what I could take. Like, I had to sit down. I had to make sure I'm drinking enough water, and I drink water all day. It was something to take note of, because jet lag and heat had never affected me so much and all at once. So that was surprising. One day we went to get soup, and this is another thing. We went to get soup. We got pho, I believe, and we got it to go. And I didn't realize to go meant they're giving it to you in a bag, like super hot, in a plastic bag. And I didn't think of it. There's no utensils, nowhere to put the plastic bag, and I can't drink from it. I can't eat from it. So we had to stop by a store to get a bowl, to get a spoon. I did bring the spoons back, and they are so cute. I love soup spoons. I love spoons in general. But anyway, there's very little that I like to bring back, because I don't want to be collecting things. I want to be collecting experiences. So I try not to, but these spoons, they were adorable. Another thing was, and this is really weird feeling, McDonald's was fantastic. I'm not a McDonald's person. Like, I never want McDonald's. I never crave McDonald's. It's just not my thing. I'm not saying that I don't love, whatever, food that's not whatever we think. Let me not sidetrack too much. McDonald's isn't usually my thing. And we went to this McDonald's, and I think it was all McDonald's are like this. I got rice and chicken, and it was like fried chicken, like an actual chicken with bone and stuff. Like not nuggets is what I'm saying. It was $2, first of all. It was so good and so fresh. And that might be, I can't think of a better fried chicken. I don't think, like right now off the top of my head. It was so delicious. $2. And the ice cream there was like 30 cents. Like, everything is just so much cheaper than what it is in the US. And the only time it got like a little bit more, it's hard to say expensive, but once you start living in those prices, it becomes expensive. Like the American style food, the hamburgers and the hot dogs and the steaks, that everything that more Western food was a little bit more pricey, but still so much cheaper than, especially in New York, where I was coming from. So that was surprising. It was really, really good. Another thing is we woke up one morning like super early, and you know what? Why don't I call him by his name? Xerxes. He doesn't have to be, okay. I'm sidetracking again. Anyway, so Xerxes is like, hey, we're up early. Let's go see the sunrise. We were right by the beach. It was affordable right by the beach. So we could walk there. And by 6 a.m, the beach, we got there by 6 a.m. The beach is already packed with people. It was never usually used this much. No one was really, this was high peak of beach traffic. And there were people swimming. There were people doing group exercises, exercising by themselves. There were meditation things happening. So there was a group in front of us off to the right, and they were all sort of with their hands like this. And I think eyes closed, sitting on the sand, meditating. And it was just so full of people. And I think by like 7 o'clock, it was pretty much cleared out. If not, the last stragglers were on their way. It was actually really beautiful to experience. And there's usually, during the day, there are people in groups getting together, dressing the same, and doing group dances. They're usually like at least 50. I think 50 is young, but I think they're like in their 60s, maybe 70s. There's always someone exercising with their arms waving like this, walking. It's like very active. And what else? Oh, another time I saw people dressed the same and dancing together is by the beach. There's this huge space that was filled with people literally lined up. There had to be at least 100 people. And there was a couple of leaders in front, and they were basically, doing sort of follow me things. Now do this, now do that. And they all did it. And then I looked over, and there were like touristy sort of buses. And eventually they were done doing whatever. It seemed like more for fun, like more like a YMCA thing than an exercise thing. And I think they got on the tour bus and went to the next stop. So that was fun. And another thing that was so surprising was that crossing the street was the scariest thing. I think the scariest thing in Vietnam. Crossing the street, there's not really usually a light. So you're just walking literally into traffic. The first time we tried to cross a major street, and I'm talking about like a highway amount of lanes and people just going, a lot of those motorbikes, mostly motorbikes. And we're standing there going, when do we go? They don't stop. Nobody stops for pedestrians. You just kind of go. And we waited, and we couldn't sort of like do that jump rope thing in. We were scared. And a native came by us and just started walking. And then we started walking with them so that, we figured they knew something, and we just walked with them until we got across the street. And what happened was everyone is timing themselves. So the motorcycles, any vehicle that's coming is timing itself to knowing that you will be there, and they're going around you, and everyone's sort of doing this dance, and you have to trust that we're all in the same timing. Don't do anything quick, don't change your timing, don't move backwards. Just go, and they'll know that you're coming, and they won't hit into you. And that's what we had to learn. And we became experts, felt really good. And this one time we noticed tourists were sort of doing that jump rope thing. They couldn't get in. And I go, ready? We're going. And we all started walking together. That was such a cool moment. Like, okay, it's this fear-based thing that you get to overcome, and it's so small, but it feels like yes, I wasn't scared. I wasn't too scared to actually do it. Because it really was scary. Oh my God. And so the motorcycles was what was surprising about that was how much could be put and how many people could be put on a motorcycle. And they rivaled what we saw in the Dominican Republic, which I don't know, they might still have the prize because in the Dominican Republic, I saw a ladder, a full-size ladder on its side, so long-wise behind the person, and they were off. So they were taking up a ladder amount of space. That was scary. But in Vietnam, I saw full-on like 5 people, families. I saw multiple children. Some of them were eating. I'm not the best was when they piled the things up and it's this mountain behind them and they're just riding everyone. It's just regular. Just no one's even shocked. I feel like there's some secret competition happening behind the scenes. It's like who can get the most behind them. It was unbelievable. But good drivers, man, like trustworthy, that trust when you're crossing the street that we're all paying attention and we can all keep this rhythm and not hurt anyone. Anyway, that was just some of the stuff. It was a pretty interesting trip. Maybe I'll talk about it more if people are interested. If anyone's interested in this that you can think of, share it with them. Thank you for subscribing and for listening. See you next time.